Welcome, episode 143. Subscribe and comments. Chapter 173. Broken Guard, Disorder-Splitting Wind Power. When Tang San practiced under the waterfall, he had stood on a smooth round rock, an extreme tempering of his balance. Now was the first time he had fully used it outside. Spirit power surged within him, giving him a kind of carefree and uninhibited feeling. Finally, 9 by 9, the last of 81 hammer blows swung out. Rich white light instantly grew, not only Tang San's attack power, but at the same time also the Death God domain he released. In order to force this defense clan to submit, he could spare no effort. Titan shouted. Old Rhino, use your spirit. Right now Niu Gao didn't care about face either. After all, compared to face, life was more important. His originally broad body swiftly expanded, his skin instantly turning black, an extremely thick keratin layer abruptly emerging. His first, second, and third, the three spirit rings that required least spirit power and released the fastest instantly flaring with radiance. It truly made Niu Gao's imposing build turn into a defensive rampart. Hong! After fully storing force, the disorder-splitting wind hammer method was terrifying. Even though it lacked the backing of the clear sky hammer, the spirit power of the final of these overlapping 81 strikes, instantly erupted with attack power that left people speechless. The force erupting from that punch was just as overbearing as the roar of a dragon or tiger. The frightening force that once made a 200 meters tall waterfall reverse its current emerged once again. The vast spirit power suddenly engulfed that imposing figure, tyrannical burst strength instantly exploding. Amidst an explosion, Niu Gao's huge body shot out like an artillery shell. With the influence of the Death God domain, Tang San's attack power had risen somewhat further, and Niu Gao's defense dropped a bit. With one lowering and one rising, the result of the attack grew even more frightening. That mountain-like body instantly flew out, blasting the wall of the Great Hall perfectly straight, leaving a human-shaped hole. It had to be said, the defense clan's constructions was quite sturdy. Even though the entire hall shook, in the end nothing collapsed. Tang San's rotation had already halted, his chest constantly heaving. Without the support of the clear sky hammer, the might of this disorder-splitting wind hammer method had weakened a lot, and it furthermore greatly increased his exhaustion. The full 81 swings unexpectedly reduced his spirit power by more than 50%. Titan stepped up behind Tang San with large strides, one hand falling on his shoulder, infusing his spirit power. Even though the profound spirit power couldn't restore him, it could help him control his breathing. Urgent footsteps echoed from outside. Previously Niu Gao was just happily engrossed in chatting with Titan, to the extent he had even forgotten to serve tea. But when such a loud disturbance occurred here, the entire defense clan was alarmed. With flapping sounds, more than 20 people rushed in from outside, each and everyone imposing. The person in the lead looked 8 parts similar to Niu Gao, just that he was a lot younger. On entering the hall he looked at Titan. So Uncle Tai is here. Yi, you're here, then why isn't my dad here? What was that noise just now? While the big guy deferentially saluted Titan, he asked somewhat puzzled. Titan glanced at Tang San, his expression turning extremely odd. They had come as guests, but had blasted the host through the wall. Of course he wasn't concerned for Niu Gao. If Tang San had used the clear sky hammer, perhaps he really could have injured him, but with an empty fist, even the 81 swing disorder-splitting wind hammer method couldn't cause any true harm to Niu Gao with his spirit released. Tai Long said in a low voice next to Tang San's ear. He's called Niu Ben 1, he's Grandpa Niu Gao's eldest son, a good friend of my dad. His talent is a lot better than my dad's, his spirit power cultivation should be about the same as young master. Before Titan could reply, the host returned. At the hole, Niu Gao crawled inside with his head and face filthy. His jacket was already torn, his spirit withdrawn, but his dusty figure and that monstrous expression had people holding their sides from laughter. Niu Ben and the defense clan clansmen looked dumbstruck at old Niu Gao, each and everyone staring blankly. Niu Ben even rubbed his eyes hard, making sure he wasn't hallucinating. Uncle Titan, this is your fault. How could you bully my dad? Niu Ben forced back a smile, speaking to Titan. Because of his relationship with Tinyo, and further how Titan had seen him grow up, they were always very close. That's why he wasn't too worried. Titan laughed heartily, saying. Who asked your dad to insist on competing? Wasn't this sorted out by me? Never mind, us two old fellows casually exchanged pointers a bit. You didn't see when your uncle was losing. You can't be partial towards your dad. Niu Gao shot Tai Tan a glare. Tai Tan was clearly covering for him. In a rage from humiliation, this rage was vented on his son. Bastards, who asked you to come in here? Didn't you see me and Tai Tan were talking about old times? Get lost, fuck off from here. Niu Ben was still a man in his 50s, but there was no anger from being cursed at by Niu Gao. In the defense clan, Niu Gao was an absolute authority. This was also why Niu Ben wanted to laugh when he saw his father in such a sorry state. Fine, fine, don't get angry dad. I'm fucking off. You old brothers go on talking. I'll prepare you food and drink. Finished speaking, Niu Ben hastily waved his hand, leading the defense clan members in a kind of retreat. Tai Tan sighed. Niu Ben, that kid is a lot stronger than my Tainyo. Dealing with more and more business. And still without inheriting your stinking personality. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty good my farts. Niu Gao's expression was now unwilling. Furiously walking over, he patted the dust from himself. Even if he was unwilling, he still had to face Tang San. Kid, you won. Just now I used my spirit, no need to punch you a third time. This old man keeps his promises. From here on, our defense clan won't have any enmity towards your father and you. Seeing Niu Gao gnashing his teeth, Tang San couldn't help smiling. He of course noticed that there was no intention of easing the tension with the Clear Sky School in Niu Gao's words. But he didn't mind. Even if the Clear Sky School was his sect, they really owed these subsidiary clans too much. That wasn't something that could be resolved in a little while or by a simple contest. It could only be slowly worked out. It was Senior who was careless, allowing Junior to pull a trick. In an ordinary battle, how could Junior have the time to store so much force? Niu Gao snorted. Fine, a loss is a loss. Don't tell me this old man is a person who still wouldn't admit defeat? You can stay this time. Tai Tan grinned. By the way you look, it doesn't look like you're admitting it. Are you ending it like this? Your most powerful defense lost to a youngster. Won't you show it? Niu Gao said angrily. Show what? Don't tell me you want to have me bring the defense clan to serve him. Tai Tan smiled. No need for that. However, recently me and young master have been preparing to establish a sect called Tang Sect. Are you interested in joining? Since the contradiction between you and master and young master is resolved, there shouldn't be any obstacles. Niu Gao pulled out a chair and sat down. Give me a break. I knew you didn't have any good intentions with bringing this kid. Old orangutan, I think you're an old fool. Haven't you had enough of the Clear Sky School? Are you planning on letting us experience another calamity? Tai Tan helplessly shook his head. Let it be. It can't be explained in a short time. I say, Niu Gao, you're still too neglectful of this old brother. Shouldn't tea be served first? Also, what does your appearance look like to your clansmen? Go change clothes quickly. Niu Gao somewhat resentfully shot Tai Tan a glare. This isn't because of your provocations. I'll go change clothes. Finished speaking, he then left in large strides. Watching Niu Gao's disappearing back, Tai Tan said to Tang San. Young master, you really shock me. That's really like you, hitting the old rhino in the area he's most skilled. No wonder you wanted to come with me, it seems you've thought up countermeasures well in advance. But the old rhino is a stubborn one, he won't compromise so easily. Tang San sighed lightly, saying. Actually, I don't want to compromise with Senior Niu Gao about anything. I just wanted to dissolve the hatred from back then. We were once one family after all. The present appearance of the 4 single attribute clans were all caused by the Clear Sky School being closed. I only want to do something for the 4 clans. There's no need for you to pressure Senior Niu Gao into joining our Tang sect. As long as they no longer hold grudges against my father, I'm content. The son repays the debts of the father. Right now Tang San had just begun to settle his father's debts. He only wanted to be able to dissolve old hatred on behalf of his father in the future, then destroy the true enemy. The two had just exchanged these simple words, as Niu Gao returned from outside. Standing in the doorway he said to Tang San. Kid, what's your spirit power rank? Looking at the gloomy-faced straightforward old man, Tang San replied respectfully. Junior's spirit power is 66th rank. Control type Spirit Emperor. Niu Gao stared blankly a moment. Control type? When did the clear sky hammer become a control type spirit? Titan laughed. Hurry up and change your clothes. We'll talk when you're back. This isn't something that can be explained in a couple of sentences. Niu Gao somewhat puzzled glanced at Titan, then turned and left again. As he walked, he still mumbled to himself. 66th rank, 21 years old 66th rank. Is that still human? Not long after Niu Gao left, subordinates brought fragrant tea. Clearly it was his instructions when he first left. There were also defense clan clansmen who started to repair the hole Niu Gao had made in the wall from outside. Titan sipped the tea, saying to Tang San. Young master, you should have seen it too. Me and Niu Gao's relationship is extremely good. We have a friendship for life. Honestly speaking, I want Niu Gao to bring the defense clan into the Tang sect, not only for you, young master, but even more for my own selfishness. I'm old, I really hope I can live together with my brother of so many years. Everyone looks out for each other, as partners. I will persuade him as much as possible. Even if Niu Gao is straightforward, he absolutely isn't stupid. I think he'll understand. If he wants to lead the defense clan to the Tang sect, I hope young master can give an old man some face. Tang San smiled. If it's really like that, it's exactly what I've been looking for. With the defense clan's construction arts and your forging arts, wouldn't that turn our Tang sect into a copper wall and iron bastion? Niu Gao wasn't gone for long, in a while he had already changed into clean clothes and returned. On entering, his first words were still to Tang San. Kid, you really are 66th rank. Tang San nodded. Niu Gao walked over and sat next to Titan, his eyes revealing a somewhat pondering light. Titan didn't disturb him, letting him think. 21 years old, 66th rank, powerful defensive strength, absolutely not below defense clan members of the same level. And the Clear Sky School's child. When did they ever lack attack power? What Niu Gao first thought of was Tang San's future prospects. No need to doubt, before he was out of his 20s, Tang San would definitely become a peak expert. And moreover an extremely powerful kind. Even title DouLuo would have no small gap in strength. Like when Tang Hao was at the peak of his strength, simultaneously taking on 3 ordinary title DouLuo wouldn't be any problem. He alone would make Spirit Hall leap like chickens or dogs. Niu Gao understood that if he offended such a promising spirit master, it absolutely wouldn't be beneficial to the defense clan's future. The defense clan really were skilled in building, the hole in the wall was already sealed in such a short time. Titan said. Old Rhino, I know you've figured something out. Don't think more. I'll settle your confidence. Let the servants withdraw. Even though Niu Gao didn't know what Titan wanted to do, but he still did as requested. Titan also waved a hand to his own clansmen and, besides Tai Long and Ma Heng-jun, had the others first wait outside the hall. Niu Gao looked somewhat puzzled at Titan. Old orangutan, what are you being so secretive about? Titan smiled calmly, saying. I just don't want you to complain later. I'll let you know too that your big brother absolutely doesn't make decisions easily. Young master, let him see your spirit. Tang San met Titan's gaze, both their eyes revealing a tacit understanding. Standing up, light flashed in Tang San's eyes, raising his left hand, black light surged inside, the clear sky hammer already appearing in his grasp. Niu Gao looked doubtfully at Tang San, saying to Titan. Old orangutan, don't tell me I haven't seen the clear sky hammer before? Yi, kid, why don't you have any spirit rings? Tang San smiled slightly. Junior's clear sky hammer really doesn't have spirit rings. Titan said. Don't worry, watch slowly. Tang San turned over his left hand, the clear sky hammer withdrawn. Immediately afterward, amidst a layer of blue radiance, he raised his right hand, blue golden blue silver emperor scattering from the light condensed within him, an aura full of vitality immediately filling the hall. The instant the blue silver emperor emerged, Niu Gao had suddenly shot to his feet. Because he saw those 6 glittering spirit rings around Tang San. None white, the lowest was yellow, purple black, Niu Gao was very familiar with these 3 colors. As a spirit DouLuo, he naturally possessed spirit rings of these 3 colors. However, as he saw that final mysterious dark red, his brain had sunk into white blankness. No need for a surprise. The young master isn't short of miracles. Did you see? The first time I saw it, my expression was a lot better than yours. Tai Tan said with feeling. Tang San hadn't hidden anything from Tai Tan. This old man who supported him wholeheartedly, had already seen Tang San's frightful 100,000-year spirit ring on the road. At that time his expression was almost identical to Niu Gao's right now. Tang San didn't say anything, but by his sorrowful expression when he looked at his 100,000-year spirit ring, Tai Tan didn't ask anything. He understood that this was Tang San's trust in him, and also accorded him trust in return. Swallowing forcefully, Niu Gao mumbled. 100,000 year, this really is a 100,000-year spirit ring. No wonder your defensive strength is so powerful. Only, at your level, how could you absorb a 100,000-year spirit ring? Each time he looked at that red spirit ring, Tang San couldn't keep from remembering that scene of Xiao Wu sacrificing herself. The expression in his eyes immediately turned sad. He pulled Xiao Wu from the wishful 100 treasure purse. I'm sorry, senior. I don't want to answer your question. If I could choose, I would prefer not to have this spirit ring. While speaking, he slowly withdrew his spirit. Tai Tan signaled Niu Gao with his eyes, hinting he shouldn't keep asking. Niu Gao drew a deep breath. Suddenly, his expression changed greatly, as if thinking of something, his voice trembled somewhat. Wait a minute, you have two spirits. Sitting to the side, Ma Hongjun was already somewhat impatient. My bro has twin spirits. What's strange about this? Niu Gao stared wide-eyed. Little fatty, you really speak casually. How many twin spirits have you seen? At this. Ma Hongjun couldn't answer immediately. Niu Gao gasped hoarsely for a few breaths, after a long time looking at Tai Tan again. Old brother, you bringing him this time, is to force me to gamble. Tai Tan sighed, saying. I'm not forcing you. How to decide is up to you. I only hope that we brothers can be together in our remaining years, just like before. Matching our strength every day, drinking together. You should know I'm not a negligent person. Naturally I have reasons for my decisions. Niu Gao lowered his voice. But, you should also know that the two Great Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School and Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan have been destroyed. There's no need to ask to know who did it. Before long, I'm afraid our Spirit Master world will be reshuffled again. I have to consider my clansmen. Here, the worst choice is to adhere to Spirit Hall. I have to consider the continuation of the whole clan. Tai Tan said. Our sect isn't a Spirit Master sect in the traditional sense. Simply said, we're more like a business. Just a business with formidable military strength. Niu Gao stared blankly. Business? I don't understand. Tang San smiled. There's always a need for income to provide for the members of the sect. Our Tang sect's first client is the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. It's also a long-term client. I think the next client will be the Heaven Do Imperial family. Besides Spirit Hall, we'll do business with anyone. Just at this moment, Niu Ben came in from outside. Afraid to draw his father's anger, he specially knocked on the door as he entered. Dad, Uncle Tai Tan, the food is ready, do you want to eat while chatting? Niu Gao nodded, saying to Tai Tan. Let's go, we'll eat while talking. Hearing talk of food, Ma Hongjun immediately grew excited. He was hungry since earlier, and couldn't help asking Niu Ben. Is there meat? I want a big piece. Niu Ben laughed out loud. Little fatty, if our defense clan lacks anything, it isn't meat. Even if our spirit is the plate-armored giant rhinoceros, we're all carnivorous. There's enough. At the table, Tang San immediately understood what Niu Ben meant about being carnivorous. The whole 3-meter diameter large table was piled up with meat dishes, not a vegetable dish in sight. There was even more 3 jars of wine, 10 gin size, holding alcohol. Drinking in big gulps, eating big mouthfuls of meat, perhaps this was the nature of those with outspoken characters. Tang San never thought he was a small eater, but seeing this table he knew what was called being a minor magician in the presence of great ones. Let alone, Niu Ben, Tai Long and the others, the appetite of the 2 clan chiefs was astonishing. Great chunks of meat were swallowed as if there was no need to chew. They drank 1 gin of wine in 1 gulp. Moreover, they were on their second bowl of wine before Tang San saw his first. Kid, come, drink. Niu Gao handed wine to Tang San. Tang San immediately smiled wryly. Senior, you drink. If I finish such a large cup of wine, I'm afraid I won't be able to sit at the table. Niu Gao frowned. Why can't youngsters drink? When I was your age, I drank huge volumes. Tang San smiled. You still have huge volumes now. Since it's senior's invitation, I'll accompany you for a cup. Speaking, he drained the cup in front of him until it was basically empty. When drinking, he was using mysterious heaven skill to protect his throat, swiftly letting that wine flow into his stomach, basically without tasting it. Niu Gao also drank in big mouthfuls, laughing loudly. Right, this is the heroic spirit youth should have. Tang San had never had so much wine, and also drank very rarely. Right now he only felt a burning sensation in his stomach, scalding his face deep-reed, speechless. Just when Tang San secretly regretted being so impulsive, suddenly, the mysterious heaven skill circulated within him, an ice-cold feeling merging into the blazing heat. The flow of his blood seemed to speed up, that scorching sensation very quickly turning into a warm current. Not only did the painful feeling disappear, he on the contrary had a refreshing feeling of his blood vessels being unimpeded. Because he only drank low-strength wine when he drank before, this was actually his first time drinking such strong wine. It was also the first time he felt the effects of high-strength wine. In fact, there was a very close relationship between capacity for wine and the condition of the body, and Tang San's physical condition could be said to be so good it couldn't be better. Having passed countless times of forging, his body had an extremely powerful ability to absorb wine. Especially the baptism to his energy channels of the octagonal mysterious ice grass and infernal precious apricot. Even though he couldn't be said to be immune to poison, absorbing a bit of strong drink wasn't a problem. Strong drink could improve blood circulation, and a bit of wine was advantageous to the body. Tang San's physical absorption ability could completely absorb this much wine. Niu Gao watched Tang San empty the cup, his face already deep red, and immediately understood that this youngster wasn't any big drinker. That he could happily drink such a large cup, and even not say anything, that gave him face. In his heart he could help having a bit of favorable opinion towards Tang San. Loosing a long breath, Tang San slowly passed his breath, saying to Niu Gao. Senior, Junior really has a low capacity for drinking. I'm afraid I can only accompany you for this one cup. Niu Gao laughed loudly, saying. Good. This old man won't force you, I've finally regained my face at the wine table. You little fellow really is strong, this is the first time I've lost since settling in Rising Dragon City. Tang San knew he still had some bad feelings about him winning before, and smiled. Actually it was only Junior using some tricks. In true defensive strength, how could Junior compare to Senior? To the side, Niu Ben heard something a bit odd, but his questions were stopped by a look from Titan. Niu Gao said. A loss is a loss. There's no need for you to gild an old man's face. It seems I really am old. Tang San said. Junior isn't being modest. In fact, Junior took a very large advantage. It might seem that Junior's proposal not to use spirit was disadvantageous to myself, but in fact, it was to blunt Senior. Even if Junior used spirit abilities, it would absolutely be impossible to compare to Senior in defensive strength. Moreover, the disorder-splitting wind hammer method could only display its power in circumstances where it can store power like that. Junior was using my own strengths to attack Senior's weaknesses, then luckily obtained Senior's approval. If Senior had used your full strength once, Junior would have been unable to resist. Rather than saying it was Junior's win, it would be better to call it Senior's consideration for the younger generation. Hearing Tang San say this, Niu Gao blinked, his originally depressed mood easing a lot. Smiling, he said. Good kid, you can actually talk. I don't recall a child of the Clear Sky School that could talk like you before. This moment, Niu Ben could no longer restrain himself, his expression changing. Dad, he's from the Clear Sky School? You. Shut up. Niu Gao shot his son a glare. Even if he's from the Clear Sky School, I've already promised him that our grievances with the Clear Sky School will no longer be related to him. He was brought by your uncle Titan, hereafter he's a friend of our defense clan. Niu Ben was in a daze as he heard his father's words. He knew how deep his father's complaints of the Clear Sky School were. That this youth in front of him could actually make his father give up on his grudges now definitely wasn't just because Titan had stepped in. Niu Gao drank another cup with Titan, then asked. Old Titan, carefully tell me about that Tang sect. Titan nodded, saying. This Tang sect of ours is established in the mansion of my strength clan. It's mainly to manufacture a kind of special weapon called hidden weapons, selling them and using them to increase our own strength. Our strength clan is well known for forging. Young master brought some exceptionally good designs. If they could be mass-produced, they could be enormously dangerous to low-level spirit masters. If we succeed, then our forging world won't be as lowly as it is now. Dealt with appropriately, even Spirit Hall could be threatened. Special weapons capable of threatening spirit masters. Niu Gao looked at Titan, not quite daring to believe it. He didn't doubt Titan, he believed this brother of his wouldn't shoot without aim. But reason made it difficult to accept this as fact. Tang San pulled out the godly Zudge crossbow from his chest. Seeing once is better than hearing 100 times, more talk wouldn't display the strength of Tang sect hidden weapons. Under everyone's attentive gazes, with a series of sonorous noises, Tang San had wound the godly Zudge crossbow's mechanism. Senior, could I ask you to block with your spirit? Like that you should be able to best feel its power. Watching the small black box in Tang San's hand, Niu Gao grew even a bit more doubtful of what Titan said. Could such a small thing deal with spirit masters? Titan said. Old Rhino, absolutely don't underestimate this thing. Within a certain range, its killing power is quite considerable. I tried it once. It really makes you gasp. Very difficult for spirit masters under the 40th rank to resist, and even past the 40th rank, without using defensive abilities in advance, getting killed wouldn't be any surprise. You know the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. They were attacked at the same time as the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. That in the end they could save the majority of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's direct descendants wasn't because their attackers started off leniently, nor was it because they had less experts than the contingent aimed at the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. It was because these godly Zudge crossbow hidden weapons had an important effect. It was by relying on more than 100 of such hidden weapons that they blocked the raiders' tidal attack. Niu Gao was shocked. Really? Titan pointed to the godly Zudge crossbow in Tang San's hand. You try and you'll know. Niu Gao no longer hesitated, immediately releasing his spirit, his pitiful jacked once again bursting from the defensive power. His first, second, and third spirit rings flashed simultaneously, his whole body covered densely with a layer of horn plates just like plate armor. Come, kid. My current defensive strength counts as that of a 50th rank spirit master going all out. Senior, be careful. Tang San shouted, pushing the trigger button on the godly Zudge crossbow. At such close range, practically nobody saw the godly Zudge crossbow firing. There was only a flash of shadow, before a series of popping noises sounded at Niu Gao's chest. 16 crossbow bolts rebounded without exception. Tang San reached out, using controlling crane catching dragon to pull them into his grasp. Everyone's eyes all fell on Niu Gao's chest, finding 16 neat white scars on that solid plate armor, each mark half a kun deep or so. Tang San couldn't help sighing in admiration. Senior, good defense. Niu Gao grinned, using his hand to rub the scars on his chest, the plate armor healing at a miraculous speed. It smarts. Old orangutan, you didn't exaggerate. If this was a spirit master under 40th rank, he absolutely couldn't resist. Such a small thing, how can it have such great power? Really difficult to believe. Once your Tang sect is established, sell me a batch as well. Our defense clan has always lacked attack power. This toy is pretty good. Titan laughed loudly. That's still just a common thing, there are even more formidable ones. With true top quality hidden weapons, even spirit sages might not be able to resist. You can buy if you can, I'll give you the manufacturing price. Young master, what's our manufacturing price for the godly Zudge crossbow? Tang San pondered, then said. Consider it 60 gold spirit coins. So expensive. Niu Gao stared wide-eyed at Tang San. In fact, the entire building planning and construction business of his clan only had a few hundred gold spirit coins in income each month. Not every clan was as wealthy as the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. The price Tang San mentioned really didn't count as high either. The godly Zudge crossbow's real manufacturing price was around 30 gold spirit coins, but to that was added the labor cost and the price of poison for the bolts, making 60 gold spirit coins the real manufacturing price. Back when Tang San sold to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, a full set was 500 gold spirit coins. Among this set of hidden weapons, chief was the godly Zudge crossbow. There were still sleeve darts, sand projecting shadow, tight back lowering head crossbow and so on. The complete manufacturing price didn't surpass 200 gold spirit coins. Tang San laughed loudly, saying, "This godly Zudge crossbow is made from refined iron, requiring extremely high skill. The crossbow bolts are dipped in poison, if not for the horn plates on your chest, perhaps you would already be poisoned. I'll trouble you to go carefully wash it off later." The manufacturing cost for each godly Zudge crossbow really is 60 gold spirit coins. If it was on the market, it would be roughly over 150 gold spirit coins. Niu Gao looked over Tang San, then again looked at Tai Tan. "Isn't that robbery? Our defense clan's income in 1 month is only a few of these toys." Tai Tan looked at Niu Gao with meaning in his eyes. "That's why I say that our Tang Sec's road of money is immeasurable. Since it wouldn't appear at the heart of conflict, there can be a certain profit. In the relative safety of Heaven Do City, quietly watching the world changing outside." 1 Niu Ben, Bovine Rush. Ends here, like and comments my friend.